Let's proceed to the second chapter of Vistas, The Tiger King by Kalki. Let's talk about the author who's written this very beautiful chapter. Ramaswamy Iyer Krishnamurthy, better known by his pen name Kalki, was a Tamil writer, journalist, poet, critic, and Indian independence activist. He was a master at making his characters come alive. He wrote it with so much of emotion that you could feel that, oh yes, they are literally alive. He won Sahitya Academy Award in 1956 for his best work, Alai Osai. Well, he had written a lot many, so one of them is The Tiger King. So, The Tiger King is a satire on the rich and powerful kings of the olden times. What do you mean by satire? Satire is, when you are expressing, when you ridicule actually, when you make fun of, when it is humor added or irony added, and you want to criticize somebody, right? That is the time you use a satire. You want to criticize somebody in a very funny manner, right? You want to ridicule him. So he wanted to actually do that to the rich, powerful kings of the olden times. He wanted to make fun of them. This is all about it. That's a satire. Quite often we see this in ads. You see in politics, the political ads that come. That's all satire. So, in order to prove the prophecies of the fortune teller wrong, the king of Pratibandhapuram mindlessly kills 99 tigers. But the 100th one, the cause of the king's death, escapes his bullet. Now here, what is he trying to say? Here he is saying that the king of Pratibandhapuram, he wanted to prove the fortune teller wrong. He says whatever he predicted, the prophecies, whatever Bhavishyavani, whatever he did, he wanted to make sure that he wanted to prove him wrong actually. So in that bargain, taking that into consideration, he lands up killing 99 tigers. But as per the prediction, the 100th one misses the bullet. Ultimately, the king is killed by an inanimate tiger made of wood. Hence, the prophecy turns to be true despite the king's efforts to prove it wrong. Well, this chapter is written with a lot of thrill. So let's go ahead and get to it. So to begin with, the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram is the hero of this story. He may be identified. Now, he has a lot of feathers to his cap, right? So let's see all the titles that he had won. Yeah. So, as His Highness Jamidar General, Khiledar Major, Satyavyagraya Samhari, Maharaj Adiraja Visvabhuvana Samrat, Sir Jilani Jung Bahadur. Now here these short forms that you see actually have no acronyms. They don't have any full forms, so please don't take the trouble to search them. So you have this MAD, ACTC or CRCK. Now these are basically titles shown. They're just shown to prove that how great he was. Yeah, so all about his credit. This was the credit given to him just to show the intensity, that how high as a king he was, how great as a king. So basically this just shows his greatness. But this name is often shortened to the Tiger King. Ultimately, the Tiger King, both they are huge, they mean a lot, Tiger and King. So yes, that is what all these titles have come up to. They have been compiled to the Tiger King. Now, the author tells you, I have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as Tiger King. I have come forward as in I want to tell you, I myself have come voluntarily to tell you that why he came to be known as the Tiger King. I have no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. He says, look, I am not even acting. I am not doing that. Neither am I trying to end up in a strategic withdrawal, a calculated. He's saying, I am not going to come back to it. If I have come forward to tell you why he was called the Tiger King, I will do it, right? I will not go back to my words. I promise you, and I shall keep the promise. He says, even the threat of a Stuka bomber. What is a Stuka bomber? It is a German bomber aircraft used during World War II. He says, even if that comes to threaten me, even the threat of a Stuka bomber will not throw me off track. Will not throw me off track means it will not stop me. I will continue telling you. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story. He says, in fact, let the Stuka go back. Let that go back to its destination. I will not stop. Let this thing go back. So I will continue to tell you why he was called the Tiger King. Now, right at the start, it is imperative to disclose a matter of vital importance about the Tiger King. He says, to begin with, before I go on, there is something which is very important, which is very necessary to tell you, to open up, to let you know of vital importance. And what is that? Everyone who reads of him will experience the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage face to face. Says, now whoever reads about this king, about the greatness, about, that determination, that daring courage that this man had, anyone who would read about that courage would want to meet him personally. Face to face, you want to meet him actually, personally. But there is no chance of its fulfillment. Alas, you cannot stand. You definitely don't have that chance. It is not even possible. Why? As Bharat said to Ram about Dashrath, the Tiger King has reached the final abode of all living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. Alright, so he's already there up in heaven. So beautifully said, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. What is the final abode of all living creatures? All of us, it is inevitable that we all are going to die. So he has reached that place already. Abode is that place of all the living creatures. So beautifully said. The manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest. The way he died, everyone dies, but the manner in which he died, the way in which he died is of utmost interest. It's very interesting. It's really exceptional. It is a unique death. It can be revealed only at the end of the tale. Now this will come to you only at the end of the story. So stay glued, students. The most fantastic aspect of his demise was that as soon as he was born, astrologers had foretold that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. The most fantastic aspect of his his death, was that as soon as he was born, the astrologers, the people who predict your future, right? They had predicted that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. What was so great about it? We all have to die. We all are going to die. So what was the great thing? He was born and obviously he was going to die. So what was great about it? Let's look. The child will grow up to become the warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, champion of champions. Wow. Now just look at that. He is, that indomitable courage, that unbeatable courage that he had. Now, keeping that in mind, he is going to become a warrior, the best one, the hero, again the best one, and the best champion. He is going to be it all. But they bit their lips. They bit their lips. That means they were not ready to speak. They stopped. They predicted so much. They gave this line and then all of them stopped. Why? But they bit their lips and swallowed hard and they kept quiet. They were shocked further as they were reading his future. When compelled to continue, the astrologers came out with it. When they were forced, when they were asked, okay, please don't stop, go on, tell us about him, what is going to happen? Then they spoke out. This is a secret which should not be revealed at all. this secret that we are going to tell you should never be spoken out. It should not, everyone should not know about it. And yet we are forced to speak out. Actually, we should not be saying this, but now because you are forcing us to speak, we are going to share it with you. The child born under this star will one day have to meet its death. Now, the time the Tiger King was born, at that time there was a particular star in the sky. You know, you have the nakshatra, you have that particular time when you're born. So that was the time, he says, there was a certain star in the sky because of which he is going to die. Again, the same thing, he is going to meet its death. Everybody is going to meet its death. At that very moment, a great miracle took place. Now, this talk was going on over there, and this Tiger King was born at that point of time. Suddenly, while these astrologers were talking about his death, there was a miracle. Something unusual happened. What happened? An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of the 10-day-old Jilani Jung Jung Bahadur. O wise prophets! Now, at that point of time, an astonishing, a very surprising thing emerged as in it appeared, right? A sudden thing came up from the lips of a 10-day-old Jilani Jung Jung Bahadur. He was just 10 days old and he speaks. I mean, can you imagine? A 10-day-old child does not speak, obviously. But yes, he spoke. That was surprising. That was shocking to everybody. And what did he speak? O wise prophets. Prophets are who? They are the representatives of God, right? And here they are the astrologers. Now he is telling them something. What did he tell them? Everyone stood transfixed in stupefaction. They were totally stunned. They were shocked. They were astonished. They were totally confused. I mean, obviously, you know, there is a 10-day-old child lying there and suddenly he starts speaking. Obviously, you're going to go in for a daze. You're going to go shocked. So, they looked wildly at each other and blinked. They were shocked. They were looking into each other's eyes. What is happening? What is this? O wise prophets, it was I who spoke. He tells them, don't worry, don't get shocked. I am speaking. This time there were no grounds for doubt. There was no place here. There was no reason or doubt. There was nothing. It was clear he's talking to us. He's telling us, don't worry, it is me who's speaking. They were not at all doubtful. Initially when they heard, O wise prophets, they had a little doubt that from where did that sound come? How can the child speak? But when he said it was I who spoke, it was confirmed that it is the child who is speaking. It was the infant born just 10 days ago who had enunciated the words so clearly. Now, it was that 10-day-old child who had spoken those words very clearly. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently at the baby. The chief astrologer, who was the main person out there, he was shocked. He took out his spectacles and he started focusing on the child. You know, he started observing him with great attention. He started looking at the baby. All those who are born will one day have to die. He's saying it's a fact. It's a universal fact that all of us, those who are born, are going to die. We don't need your predictions to know that. He's saying that is not something you need to predict. That we are all aware. We all know that we are going to die. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of that death. The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice. He says, don't tell me I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. I'm born, I will die. Everybody, all of us will do it. But if you tell me the manner, if you tell me the way that I'm going to die, now that would make sense. That would make sense to know that how I am going to die. Something about that could be done. The royal infant uttered these words. He spoke these words in his little squeaky. Squeaky is a high-pitched voice. I mean, he was a kid. So obviously the voice came of a kid only, but it was a very high-pitched voice. The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose in wonder. He was shocked. He was literally shocked. A baby barely 10 days old opens its lips in speech. That means a 10-day-old child speaks. Not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. Incredible. He's saying 10-day-old, first and foremost, the shocking thing is he speaks. And then what he does, he is asking a very intelligent question. He told him, how can you tell me I'm going to die? I know I'm going to die. But if you tell me the manner in which I'm going to die, now that would make sense. And so he says, what an intelligent question, really shocking. Rather like the bulletins issued by the War Office than facts. He says it was just as shocking, the regular reports that come from the War Office, it was equally shocking than the facts. The chief astrologer took his finger off his nose and fixed his eyes upon the little prince. He was only staring at it. He was totally looking out there at the prince. The prince was born in the hour of the bull. Remember, he said there is a particular star that was in the sky when the prince was born, and that star, he was born in the hour of the bull. The bull and the tiger are enemies. Therefore, death comes from the tiger, he explained. Now, the prince had asked him a question, you tell me how I'm going to die. That will really actually help me out. And he tells him, okay, if that's what you want to know, where you were born when the bull, the star was in the sky. Now, here the bull and the tiger are enemies. So you are going to die because of a tiger. Death comes from the tiger, he explained. You may think that Crown Prince Jung Bahadur was thrown into a quake when he heard the word tiger. Now what you must be thinking, when the 10-day-old child will hear, oh, you're going to die because of a tiger, you're going to be killed by a tiger. Obviously anyone would get shaken up. Anyone would be, scared and, not really happy to know about the fact. But he was thrown into a quake. You think that happened to him? Was he really shocked? Was he trembling out of fear? No. That was exactly what did not happen. He did not tremble. He was not scared. He was not at all afraid. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the crown prince gave a deep growl. He gave a low guttural sound to show hostility. He says, oh, terrifying words emerged from his lips. Real scary words. Terrifying means very scary words. He was not shocked. He says, oh, is that the case? What he spoke then? Let tigers beware. He says, oh, it's me. They cannot kill me. So let them be careful. Let the tigers beware. This account is only a rumor rife in Pratibandhapuram. Now this story, this thing what they are talking about, this record or this memory, as the meaning tells you, is a rumor rife, in the sense it was a rumor which had spread all around Pratibandhapuram. That was just a rumor. But with hindsight, we may conclude it was based on some truth. Now actually, after understanding that event, after it happened, after that, we may conclude that it was based on some truth. There was some truth somewhere on which this thing had come up. Crown Prince Jung Bahadur grew taller and stronger day by day. No other miracle marked his childhood days apart from the event already described. Now yes, he kept growing, time went passing by, he grew taller, he grew stronger, and of course apart from that miracle which he spoke when he was just 10 days old, apart from that nothing else happened, right? That was the only miracle that has been described to us. Now, how did he grow up? Now, this is the way, like when he was born as a prince. So, you are born, you are brought up very royally. So this is how he was brought up. The boy drank the milk of an English cow, was brought up by an English nanny. A nanny here, when we are talking, is a person employed to look after a child, right? Governess, you can say, yes. Tutored in English by an Englishman would come and teach him. Saw nothing but English films, great, exactly as the crown princes of all the Indian states did. Everybody, all the princes of the Indian states did the same, and he did likewise. When he came of age at 20, now here, when he turned into an adult, 20, the state which had been with the coat of wards until then came into hands. Now, it came into his hands. Now, the coat of wards. Now, basically, what is a coat of ward? A legal body created by East India Company to protect the assets when heirs are deemed to be minors. Now, because he was a minor and, his assets, his kingdom had to be looked after somebody, those are the coat of wards. They take care of those assets and the kingdom. Once that child grows up and becomes an adult, then the power is given back to him. So yes, when he turned 20, that power was given off to him. He says, now you're grown up enough to look after the kingdom. It's all yours. Take over. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. Now, nobody had forgotten. Now, he had turned 20, but still in everybody's mind, that prediction that astrologer had said that a tiger is going to kill him, everyone remembered that. Nobody had forgotten. Many continued to discuss the matter. Slowly, it came to the Maharaja's ears. Now, everybody was discussing the same. Now, as they were, the Chinese whisper, it went on, and finally it reached the Maharaja. He got to know of it. There were innumerable forests in the Pratibandhapuram state. He's saying there were n number, there were so many, uncountable, many forests in that state. They had tigers in them. Now, obviously, if you have a forest, you have tigers. The Maharaja knew the old saying, you may kill even a cow in self-defense. Now, the Maharaja knew, see, generally a cow is considered holy, right? In India, we are all aware. We say Gau Mata, don't we? So he says, even if a cow attacks you, to save yourself in self-defense, you're allowed to kill the cow also. Generally, we don't do that, right? We respect, we worship the cow. But he says, if the cow is attacking you, you are allowed to kill the cow to save yourself. There could certainly be no objection to killing tigers in self-defense. Now, if you can kill a cow, obviously you can kill a tiger if he is attacking you. The Maharaja started out on a tiger hunt. He says, now this, what has been told by the astrologer, he wanted to prove it wrong. So what he said, now he got to know that he is going to be killed by a tiger. So what he did was, he started on a tiger hunt. The Maharaja was thrilled beyond measure when he killed his first tiger. Now the journey began. Right? The journey began. He was very excited. He was really feeling so good. He felt a sense of achievement when he killed the first tiger. He sent for the state astrologer and showed him the dead beast. He says, he called that astrologer. You remember that chief astrologer? He says, now you come. See, here it is. I have killed the tiger. What do you say now? He demanded. He says, now tell me, what do you say? I have already killed. And you had said a tiger is going to kill me. I have already killed it. Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner. But the astrologer drawled. He says, this is the same manner you are going to kill the next 99 tigers. But the astrologer drawled. He stopped. He, gave it a pause. But what? Speak without fear. He says, so what? Come on, continue. Tell me what you're trying to tell me. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger. He says 99 tigers will do you no harm. They will not kill you. What you have to take care is of the 100th tiger. What if the 100th tiger were also killed? He says, what if I kill that 100th tiger also? Then I will tear up all my books on astrology, set fire to them, and he says, if that happens, if you kill that 100 tiger, if the 100 tiger doesn't kill you, I will, all my books on astrology, I will put fire to them. I will burn all of them. And I shall cut off my tuft, crop my hair short, and become an insurance agent. The astrologer finished on an incoherent note. On a very confused note he ended. He told him this, but he was extremely confused. From that day onwards, it was celebration time for all the tigers inhabiting Pratibandhapuram. He says that day onwards, it was a great time for all the tigers which were living in that state. Why? The state banned tiger hunting by anyone except the Maharaja. He says nobody is going to kill a tiger. It is only the authority of the Maharaja to do so. Only he will kill the tigers, nobody else will touch. A proclamation, an official announcement was made to the effect that if anyone dared to fling so much as a stone at a tiger, he says, even if anyone thinks of even throwing a stone at a tiger, his wealth and property would be confiscated. Confiscated, it would go away in the hands of the authority. He will lose all his wealth if they even throw a stone at a tiger. The Maharaja vowed he would attend to all other matters only after killing the 100 tigers. He says, I am going to do nothing. I am not going to look at any other matter right now until and unless I have finished killing all the 100 tigers. Initially, the king seemed well set to realize his ambition. Initially, he said, okay, that's my ambition. Right now, that's my goal. I am only going to focus on that matter. He was pretty well set with the fact that that is what I have to complete first. Not that he faced no dangers. Now, what do you think? Killing tigers is very simple. Every time it's like he's never going to be hurt. He's never going to be in danger. It was totally risky. There were times when the bullet missed its mark. The tiger leapt upon him and he fought the beast with his bare hands. Now, here, there were times when obviously he missed the bullet. Now, every time it would not go correctly, right? And so the tiger would jump over him, it would leap over him. And so he fought it with bare hands because he had no gun that time in his hand. There was absolutely nothing in his hands and he had to fight the tiger. Each time it was the Maharaja who won. Obviously, it was total victory for him because he was aware of the fact that 99 tigers will do him no harm. So yes, very bravely he fought them. At another time, he was in danger of losing his throne. Now, he got so focused, he was totally absorbed in that I have to kill those tigers, that literally he was in danger of losing his throne. A high-ranking British officer visited Pratibandhapuram. He was very fond of hunting tigers and fonder of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. Now, a high-ranking British officer came there. He came to pay a visit to that state, and he was extremely fond. It was his, it was his hobby to kill tigers, and more than that, he always wanted a picture with the tiger he had killed. He wanted that scene, that photo. As usual, he wished to hunt tigers in Pratibandhapuram, but the Maharaja was firm in his resolve. He was totally determined. He said, sorry, It's not possible. It's me who's going to kill all of them. He refused permission. He refused permission to that high-ranking British officer. I can organize any other hunt. You want to kill any other animal? I will allow you. You may go on a boar hunt. You may conduct a mouse hunt. We are ready for a mosquito hunt. But tiger hunt? That's impossible. He says, you kill any other animal on earth. I will allow you. I will even help you out. But the tiger, they are only for me. I am going to kill them, nobody else. The British officer's secretary sent word to the Maharaja through the Diwan that the Durai himself did not have to kill the tiger. He says, who is the Diwan here? The minister. And the Durai is the Tamil word for chief or leader. So, let's read that again. The British officer's secretary sent word to the Maharaja through the Diwan, that is through the minister, that the leader himself, the chief himself, did not have to kill the tiger. The Maharaja could do the actual killing. What was important to the chief, to the leader, was a photograph of himself holding the gun and standing over the tiger's carcass. Carcass, the dead body of the tiger. He says, don't worry. Okay, I will not kill it. But what I am more interested in is, I want to take a picture of myself holding the gun and standing over the tiger's dead body. But the Maharaja would not agree even to this proposal. He says, even this I don't want. I will not allow. If he relented now, what would he do if other British officers turned up for tiger hunts? Now, if he allowed, if he told him yes, for this one officer, if he told him yes, then other officers would also come, right? Obviously, now if he would have got the permission, even others would have come. What would he do then? Because he prevented a British officer from fulfilling his desire, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom itself. Now, obviously, in those days, it was not really, the right thing to oppose the British officers, not to allow him. So it became a danger for him that he might lose his kingdom. He refused even the photograph, he refused hunting. He took a very big risk to the extent that he might even lose his kingdom because he did not fulfill his wish. The Maharaja and the Diwan held deliberations over the issue. Now, the Maharaja and the Diwan, the chief, they held deliberations, as in they held discussions over this issue. They sat and they spoke it out. As a result, a telegram was dispatched forthwith to a famous British company of jewelers in Calcutta. Now, what happened after that was, a telegram was dispatched, it was sent out forthwith, immediately, to a famous British company of jewelers in Calcutta. Those days Calcutta, now Kolkata. What was it all about? Send samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs. What connect was that? Let's look further. They asked that jeweler to send them samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs. Some 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent the whole lot to the British officer's good lady. Well, sort of bribe, you can say that. Now, because he had refused him permission, so he had to make him happy in some way. So this was the best way he thought of, right? So all the 50 rings that came from the jeweler in Kolkata, he sent all of them to the British officer's good lady. The king and the minister expected the Duraisani to choose 1 or 2 rings and send the rest back. Now, here the king and the minister, now they thought that, okay, 50 are going, at least something will come back. I mean, she will choose, obviously. Duraisani here is the wife of the chief. Now, she would take 1 or 2 and she would send the rest back. Within no time at all, the Duraisani sent her reply, "Thank you very much for your gifts." Well, all the 50 were taken. She did not send anything back. She thought, oh, so many gifts? Thank you so very much. I'm really, really happy. In 2 days, a bill for 3 lakh of rupees came from the British jewelers. Now, obviously, the king had to pay that money. He was billed, he had taken those rings, and the extra ones did not come back. So he had to pay money for all of it. The Maharaja was happy that though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to retain his kingdom. He made sure that he was more than happy that at least, okay, the 3 lakh of rupees went, but at least the kingdom was in his hands. He did not lose his kingdom. That was more than important to him at this point of time. What happens further, we shall know in the second part of the video.